All right, we are just minutes away from starting our first game of the second day of Malice in the Mountains. We have two games today. Our first one is going to be Northern Arizona Wild West Outlaws going up against Coyote Country Roller Derby's Palouse River Rollers. Go over the rosters here quickly for the Wild West Outlaws. Number 0, the Knockout, 008 Ham Wheezy, 1031 Holly Ween, number 13 Hugs and Stitches, 24 Spitfire, 321 Vivian Slaya, number 5 Little Kitty Split, 54 Mecca Frankenstein, 562 Tinker Hell, number 7 Glitter Bomb, 76 Little Evil, 802 Mow You Down, and number 88 Joya Destroya. Their coaches are Dysentery, Henanigans, Apocalypsa, Shenanigans, and Brooke. And the Palouse River Rollers, they are number 0210 Sir Vixen, 07 Solar Roller, number 22 Sharkbait, 247 Lectually Active, number 27 Don't Care Bear, number 29 Pterodactyl, number 33 Jawbreaker, 333 Phytochondria, 626 Night Fury, 757 She'll Be Sassy, number 90 Whiskey Smash, and number 99 Betty Rumble.
You can see my hand, right, if I just do this? Okay, make it try to make the glove or anything.
All right, both teams got their starting lines out. Looks like we're going to have Phytochondria in white for the River Rollers, and in the blue, the Wild West Outlaws are bringing out Halloween. So yesterday, both these teams played 2 games. This has been a huge defensive battle. Not to say that the Jammers haven't been working, but they have had to work hard for every point. These have been very low-scoring games. As far as the entire tournament goes, I don't think I've ever seen anything where the teams have been this evenly matched throughout the weekend. So this has been very impressive to watch, and I'm sure we're going to see more of that today. This is the final game for the 4 teams here today, so they're going to put everything out there. So it's been a lot of fun watching really good defensive teams, and then the Jammers really giving everything they got for getting that lead position and also getting those points. Okay, officials and coaches and everyone getting ready to go here. Make sure everything's set up. Our second game today will start at 11 a.m., and that is going to be the Wasatch Midnight Terror going up against the FOCO Micro Bruisers. And that is slated for 11 a.m. That's always subject to change, either a little earlier or a little later, depending on how this game goes. Make a few announcement here before we get started. Also happening at the Derby Depot on Saturday, December 13th at 7 p.m. Our Beehive Skate Revolution will be having their last game of the season. This will be Skates and Smiles. This is an event to benefit the officials and volunteers here at the depot, and it's going to be sponsored by Stubbs Dental. So again, that is Saturday, December 13th at 7 p.m. And of course, a longtime sponsor of Salt Lake Roller Derby and the Derby Depot, and of this tournament and other tournaments as well that we've had here, the Pie Pizzeria. a Valley landmark since 1980, continues to reign atop the best pizza lists because of the business philosophy that consistency, quality, equitable pricing, and great service are the keys to success. Yesterday we had a raffle giveaway. All those winners had been announced. You can get those prizes out to everyone. Keep in mind, we still have our concession table open, and we may have some merchandise available here. I'll get a confirmation on that. And get some Malice in the Mountains 2025 tournament patch. All right, rolling whistle gets us started. Again, we have our River Rollers in white going up against the Outlaws in blue. Mitochondria slams hard into the pack, goes down right back up. It's Halloween with lead. We have a high block call, sending one of the blue blockers down into the penalty box. And all 4 points scored by Halloween on this first jam of the day. So now it is Glitter Bomb in blue for the Wild West Outlaws. River Rollers in white, bringing out Solar Roller. Glitter Bomb, both jammers going up the pack. Big light on the outside. Glitter Bomb sees it, takes it, gets lead. Right behind is Solar Roller, though. And we have a track cut on one of the outlaw blockers, sending them to the box. They'll have 2 blockers starting in this next jam here. And 3 points awarded to the River Rollers on that one. So now we have our 4-3 game. Little Kitty Split in blue going up against Whiskey Smash in white. Got a false start. They're going to have to yield for a bit. Jam is back on, fully into it. And we do have our lead call as Whiskey Smash goes down, but is back up and is out of the pack. Whiskey Smash in lead, Little Kitty split. Following or close behind, Whiskey Smash. Calling out to her teammates for what she wants to see. We have a forearm call, sending another player to the box. So it looks like the pivot for the River Rollers. Whiskey Smash opting to continue this run. Both jammers have scored 4 points on this jam. Whiskey Smash looking to earn some points. Little Kitty Slit slams into the tripod set up by the River Rollers. Smash calls that one off. Scores all 4 points for doing so. 2 points for Little Kitty Split. So now we have a 8-6 jam on that one, which ties up our game at 10-10. Vivian Slaya in blue for the Outlaws, going up against Night Fury in white for the River Rollers. Both jammers tack on the outside. Now into the middle goes Vivian Slaya. Night Fury attempting to go out to the outside, but now stuck in the middle of the tripod. No pack is called. The defender's got to hurry and try to fix that before getting called for a no pack penalty, and it's Vivian Slaya out for lead. Vivian Slaya now on a scoring run, slams into the seam of the tripod, got to push their way through. Got a forearm call, sending a outlaw blocker to the box. That is the knockout going to the box. Good one-on-one blocking up front here, mow you down. Holding, but no, is called on a forearm call, and that will free up Night Fury. Meanwhile, on their scoring run is Vivian Slaya, able to get 3 points on that one before calling it off, giving the lead to the Outlaws. Again, Outlaws in blue will bring out Little Evil. Going up against She'll Be Sassy for the River Rollers. We have a 4-2 advantage for the River Rollers as far as blockers are concerned. Outlaws have 2 blockers in the penalty box at the start of this jam. She'll Be Sassy, big hit and takedown by number 44 of the Outlaws. That was Mecca Frankenstein. And a lot of penalties early on in this game. But it is the River Rollers out first. She'll Be Sassy. And now we have 2-1 on the blockers. Now a few players now coming off the bench, and so it kind of even up the blocker disadvantage here. But it is She'll Be Sassy with 4 points. Going around for another scoring run. Glitter Bomb trying to fight their way through. She'll Be Sassy, goes to the outside, takes a hit, is stopped, but only momentarily as they are back through for 4 more points. 8 points on this run for She'll Be Sassy. I'm sorry, I mentioned Glitter Bomb earlier. There's a Little Evil out there as the jammer for the Outlaws, who has now successfully completed a star pass to Hugs and Stitches. Hugs and Stitches now the jammer for the Outlaws. And She'll Be Sassy calls that one off, scoring 4 more points in the process. Big run for the River Rollers there, putting them up 22-13. Now Phytochondria in white going up against Halloween. So we're at where we started at the beginning of this game. These 2 jammers out dueling once again. Outlaws start with 1 blocker in the box. Halloween trying to shove their way past Pterodactyl. Phytochondria up front, pushing hard, gets past and through, but no, it is a one-on-one sprint now between these 2 jammers. It is Phytochondria with the lead advantage. Now both teams racing around the track, seeing what they can do. Halloween with a slight lead over Phytochondria, but now they're both neck and neck right now as they go around the track once more. Neither team scoring any points yet. And Phytochondria calls that one off. Let's see. No, it is Halloween scoring 3 points before that was called off for the Outlaws. So great work by Halloween to keep pace up there and score 3 points at the end of that, even being the second position jammer. Now it is Glitter Bomb in blue out there for the Outlaws. They're going up against Solar Roller. Solar Roller pushing up hard up front, trying to split up that pack. Nice moves by Glitter Bomb, gets them out with a little hop to get by the last defenders there and get that lead. On the scoring run is Glitter Bomb, number 7. Calls that one off. Successfully gets 3 points before doing so. And now we have a 22-19 game. The River Rollers up by 3, so that lead may not last long. Again, like we saw yesterday, there wasn't a whole lot of double-digit jams. A lot of times it was 1 to 4 points being scored per jam. And the River Rollers are going to call their first team timeout. They'll have 3 to use during this game. This will give them 1 minute to regroup. There's a lot of action early on here. And not even a full 9 minutes into this game. And still a lot happening. As our minute is almost up, we'll be getting back here in just 5 seconds. We'll get that rolling whistle to end the timeout. Little Kitty Split out there for the Outlaws. And with the jam star is Whiskey Smash for the River Rollers, and we have a official timeout now. So we're fixing some stuff on the track. That was a quick fix, and we're back into it. Oh, both teams right up at that jam line. Both jammers going to the outside. It is Little Kitty Split trying up front to bust through the line, but is being held up by Jawbreaker and Pterodactyl. Whiskey Smash taking a big hit, back up on their feet, being recycled back though. And it is Little Kitty Split that it gets lead position as Pterodactyl, the pivot for the River Rollers, goes to the box. Nice boost, makes it look smooth as Little Kitty Split. They still have a couple blockers to beat and they get through. All right, Little Kitty split with 4 points on that last jam, brings the Outlaws up by 1 point, 23 to 22. Right now we have Night Fury for the River Rollers as the jammer, and the jam star for the Outlaws is Vivian Slaya. Rolling whistle gets us going again. A 3-2 advantage for the Outlaws with the blockers. A lot of penalties in this game so far. Both teams putting everything out of there, being the last game of the tournament. Night Fury with some quick moves to the inside, but is caught up, and lead is still open. Vivian Slaya brought back by Don't Care Bear. Knocked out of bounds by DC. Now it is Night Fury once again up front, trying to break through a tripod. Vivian Slaya also now running right into the seam of a very formidable tripod. These jammers got their work cut out for them this game. Night Fury, though, with some quick moves, gets through for a lead. Now on the scoring run is Night Fury. Vivian Slaya still held back at turn number 2. Hard hit by Mecha Frankenstein, brings down Night Fury, recycles them back. Going at it again is Night Fury, going straight into a tripod, being recycled again. Penalty box is clear now. Vivian Slaya still trying to get through. Night Fury trying to put up a few more points for their team, see if they can regain that lead position. Or not the lead position, but rather the lead in the game. Good hit by Hugs and Stitches to knock out Night Fury and recycle them back just as they're about to get through. We do have... And we have a high block being called on active. They'll send them to the box. Just as Hugs and Stitches grab the star. So now your jammer for the Outlaws is Hugs and Stitches. Or sorry, rather Spitfire. Got that name wrong here. That is Spitfire as the jammer for the Outlaws. All right, and the Outlaws are going to be calling their first team timeout. Team timeout is done. Both teams still have 2 remaining and also have their official review for this half. It is number 76, Little Evil, out there for the Outlaws, going up against She'll Be Sassy. She'll Be Sassy with a nice move to get that lead position, took a hit, bounced right off it, and kept going. Right now it's 2-on-2 with the blockers. We have a forearm call, sending another person to the box. Both jammers get their 4 points, and now they're going to be facing off against one another. She'll Be Sassy giving a little hit before moving on. She'll Be Sassy is our lead jammer. Teams racing around the track trying to rack up those points. She'll be Sassy and Little Evil both on scoring runs. Sassy calls it off. See at the River Rollers gained all 4 points on that last run, so that gives it a 8-4 advantage on that jam. Yeah, a lot of sprinting going on between those two jammers and a little dueling as well. Holly Ween in blue, Phytochondria in white. 3-on-3 blockers. All right, Phytochondria brought back by Spitfire as Holly Ween gets the lead. Phytochondria just charges right into the tripod, trying to split it open. But no, it's going to be brought back by, looks like a Ham Wheezy. Holly Ween on their scoring pass. Holly Ween gets all 4s through. On another run, we do have a successful star pass now. I believe that is Sharkbait with the star for the River Rollers. Holly Ween quick moves to the inside for 4 more. Had a nice screen set up by her blockers and calls that one off after gaining 8 points, bringing the lead back to the Outlaws. Glitter Bomb, number 7 in blue, up against 07 in white, Solar Roller. Nice moves by Little Evil to get through. Nice quick steps on the outside to get past the last of the blockers. Or Glitter Bomb, rather. Glitter Bomb. Jawbreaker knocks out Glitter Bomb, forcing the call off. And 2 points scored by the River Rollers on that. And that'll tie it up at 36 each. The game is tied as we are heading into the 15-minute mark. And the Outlaws are going to be calling an official review on this. See if they retain or lose this review. We'll get back to the result of that. We've had a lot of penalties against the blockers, but we have yet to have a power jam or a power start, so the jammer's doing a very good job of not gaining any penalties. So again, our next game tentatively starting at 8 a.m. At 11 a.m. is going to be the Wasatch Midnight Terror against the FOCO Microbruisers. That'll be our last game of our tournament here. All right, officials having a conference with the captains and coaches now, the teams, explaining their decision. Announce that decision once the official review ends. All right, officials still talking things over here. A decision had been made, but still have not gotten that rolling whistle to get the game back started yet. So I don't know if there's still more to discuss. So interesting development. I guess there was a simultaneous official reviews, both the Outlaws and the River Rollers using their official reviews. And the Outlaws were looking for a change of points on that last jam, trying to see if White did get all 2 points that were awarded to them, and the officials ruled that they did. So they will lose their official review. And White, the River Rollers, were trying to review a skating out of bounds on the Outlaws. However, that they will also lose their official reviews, the officials not agreeing with that challenge. So both teams losing their official reviews right here at the 15-minute and 20-second mark of the first half. However, both teams will get an official review available to them at the beginning of the second half. Both teams also still have 2 team timeouts remaining for the game as well. All right, and we are back into our action now. Whiskey Smash up against Little Kitty Split. Split in blue. Whiskey Smash tries for the inside. Kitty tries for the inside too, but finds a way through and gets lead. Smash quickly, though, out of the pack. On the scoring run now is the Outlaws. They call that one off. Little Kitty Split scoring 3 points on that. However, Smash charging through, not giving up, gets 2 points. However, it is the Outlaws now with a 1-point lead, 39-38. Vivian Slaya out there for the Outlaws, going up against Shelby Sassy. Little jammer on jammer hitting right here at the jam line. Off to the outside of Shelby Sassy. Nice moves in and through. Takes and absorbs some hits, gives some of their own, and gets on through. And we have Hugs and Stitches, number 13 for the Outlaws now with the jammer. Nice quick moves by Hugs and Stitches, gets on through. Sassy gets through for 4, but so does Hugs and Stitches. And that'll be a 8-8 jam for both teams on there. Yeah, great job receiving that handoff as a pivot, Hugs and Stitches, and then showing a lot of capabilities as a jammer. Often out on the track as a pivot, but definitely has some skills jamming once they get that star. Little Evil in blue up against Solar Roller. Solar Roller opts to go right up the middle. Little Evil kind of doing more lateral movements across the track, trying to find a way through the River Roller line. But it is Solar Roller up top and through, pushing their way to get that lead. And we have Spitfire now for the Outlaws with the Jam Star in hand. Hard hits though by Solar Roller, gets them 4 points. Yeah, both Outlaw pivots have a lot of speed once they get that Jam Star. And we have Halloween going up against Whiskey Smasher. Whiskey Smasher back out there for the River Rollers. Also serving as a team coach for this team as well, as addition to playing. They have some pushing going on right at that jam line. Both jammers held up momentarily, fighting hard for it. It is Whiskey Smasher, though, with some hard hits pummeling their way through for that lead position. But no, it's Whiskey Smasher getting a forearm call. So that is our first power jam of the game here. Or is Halloween now getting a forearm call of their own? That's going to free up Whiskey Smasher out of the penalty box. However, Halloween will only ever have to serve the same amount of time as Whiskey Smash did in the box. So they will be out and back out on the track in a few seconds. Won't have to serve the full 30. So lead, there is no lead as both jammers went to the penalty box. Nice apex jump by Halloween, gets forward. No, they were knocked out. Recycled back. Whiskey Smash for 4. Halloween for 4. Another scoring run for each of these jammers underway. 10 seconds left in our jam. Nice work by Whiskey Smash to get 4 more points. Halloween only held up momentarily and then gains 4 points of their own. Smash now on their 3rd scoring run, brought back by the knockout. Good work here by these defenders to gather around. Yeah, both jammers doing a really good job racking up points, but on this last pass here, the blockers definitely got in their way and slowed down that advance. River Rollers coming out ahead on that one. Looks like 8 points to 4 points. So that, and we have an official timeout being called up right in here at the scoreboard operator to make sure the point totals are accurate. right, making sure our scoreboard is accurate and everything's tallied for. So yeah, it looks like River Rollers coming out on top 12-8 on that one. It's a great run by both those jammers. Some early penalties assessed early on, but both jammers came right back out and put up some good points for their team. Right now we're looking at 62-55 River Rollers on top, but lead change has been going on a lot in this game. Now, some previous games we've had, one team's kind of taken lead and either kept that lead, just hung on to it till the very end of the game, or lead was changed at the very end of the game. But this is kind of our first game of this tournament with quite a few lead changes going on between these two teams. No, okay, so now the score is changed, so now it was assessed as an 8-8 jam. So is the River Rollers only up by 3, 58-55. Phytochondria up against Glitterbond. Phytochondria quick to the outside, but no, taken down. But it looks like we had a forearm call on that takedown against Ham Weasley. But it is Glitterbomb out there with lead. Phytochondria, though. Oh, no, it's Phytochondria now given lead. Phytochondria with lead and scores 4 points. Glitterbomb, though, out for 4 of their own. Phytochondria on the line. See if they just stayed in. Did get all 4 points before calling that one off. 8-4 jam, advantage River Rollers. Little Kitty Split up against She'll Be Sassy. Penalty box is clear. All players are on the track. Sassy going for the outside, pushing their way through, looking for some hard hits. We do have a high block, though, so now we're going to have a power jam advantage for Little Kitty Split, who can definitely put up some points, has done it before in this tournament. And this could be our lead change moment right here. Let's see what Little Kitty Split can do. The pivot for the Outlaws goes to the penalty box. Looks like we had an illegal hit or illegal contact. Split gets 4 and calls that one off, so this will be a power start advantage for the Outlaws. River Rollers still up by 3, 66-63. But perhaps with this power start advantage here, the Outlaws hope to gain lead and get a few more points to put them ahead. And we have a track maintenance issue that we are going to be addressing quickly here. And we'll get back started. So I want to make sure that track is safe for our skaters here. This is already a physical enough sport as it is, so we don't want to have our track be one of the issues and reasons that they have to worry about for their safety. And we do have our medics on hand who've been doing a good job all tournament long. Everyone here volunteers for all of this stuff, so it's a lot of time being spent from our players and officials and our front of house volunteers to make this thing happen. right, we are back on. This is a power start advantage for the Outlaws. Vivian Slay out there as the jammer. All right, we are off on this. Nice defense sprayed up by the River Rollers at the jam line. Hold back. And she'll be sassy. Roars right out of the bench. Back on the track and gets lead position. Vivian Slay is still trying to find a way through the pack. Meanwhile, she'll be sassy on a scoring run. Have a high block assessed to Betty Rumble of the River Rollers. She'll be sassy. Now on their second scoring pass, goes to the outside. Stop, jumps right back on the track. Vivian Slay is still trying to find a way through a very tough River Roller line. I know we did have a star pass, rather. It is Hugs and Stitches, now as the jammer for the Outlaws. Showed a lot of speed earlier as the jammer. And does so again, gets through for 4. Nice job on taking the star pass, getting 4 points, but it is She'll Be Sassy with 8 points. That extends that River Roller lead that was being threatened by the Outlaws at the beginning of this jam. Little Evils, number 76 in blue, up against Solar Roller in white. Got another official timeout here. Our skating officials looking around, make sure everything on the track is good. So clear the track momentarily here before we get started. All right, and we are back into it. Once again, your jammers for this jam here, Little Evil in blue against Solar Roller in white. Jammers charge up the middle into the tripods. Good lateral movements shown by both jammers to try to break that up. Hugs and Stitches with a nice hit to bring back Solar Roller, being assisted by the knockout. Little Evil shoving their way, trying to get up at turn number 1, but no, it is Solar Roller out first for lead. Coming around the track now for their scoring run. Do have another star pass to Hugs and Stitches. Oh, and we have a directional call against Betty Rumble. That'll send them to the box. And it looks like the star was handed back to Little Evil. Jawbreaker goes to the bench with a low block call. Solo Roller with 4 points calls it off. I believe they got all 4 on that, so an 8-0 run for Solar Roller. Very physical play in that jam. And the Outlaws did not put out a jammer in time for that, so this jam will stop. And I believe it might be the team captain that will start in the penalty box. And that team captain is Holly Ween. So Glitter Bomb with the jam star now for the Outlaws as we start this jam once again. Whiskey Smasher out there for the River Rollers. 3-on-3 with the blockers. A lot of action right up here, right at the jam line at the start. Glitter Bomb shoving their way through, but not finding a hole. Nice moves by Whiskey Smasher to get through for lead. But it is Glitter Bomb quick on her feet to get out of the pack. Whiskey Smasher, nice moves. Gets 4, calls it off. Well, racing behind was Glitter Bomb on that to get 3 for the Outlaws. So River Rollers coming up ahead on that one by 4-3, but still having that lead of 86-70 as we go into the final 3 minutes of our first half. Phytochondria up against Little Kitty Split. Split goes to the outside, swings to the end. Phytochondria, quick move to the outside, sees that opening and takes it and has lead. Phytochondria on the scoring run. Now so Little Kitty Split on their own. Phytochondria knocked out of bounds, recycled as Little Kitty Split quickly makes their way through for the pack for 4. Phytochondria forced to call that one off before Kitty can threaten to score again. She'll be sassy up against Vivian Salea. A lot of hard hits up at the jam line. Both jammers on the outside. And we have a multiplayer call on the jammer. Don't see that too often. So now we have a forearm call that'll send a outlaw blocker to the bench. But now we still do have a power jam advantage for the Outlaws. However, is Don't Care Bear with some nice blocking to recycle back Slaya. Slaya, nice, almost finds room on the outside, but is recycled back. Good offensive help there by Halloween, but just wasn't enough. She'll be sassy, back out of the box, onto the track. Now on a scoring run. No lead so far. No lead. Yeah, there will be no lead in this jam. Still 50 seconds left. Sassy with 4 points. Slaya now on a scoring run. Sassy knocked out of bounds by Spitfire and recycled back. Vivian also recycled back. Good hit out by Active. And now we have a physical confrontation here between both these tough jammer or these tough tripods put up by these teams. She'll be sassy though, that does find a way through. No, she'll be sassy given a penalty. And a track cut on Slea, and so that will free out as the jam ends. We'll see what happens here as both jammers are in the box, but one jammer will have to be at least out on the track at the start of the next jam. Right now, and that brings us to intermission, so we will figure that out when we come back for the second half here. Let's see, it may be She'll Be Sassy that comes out as the jammer, and then Vivian may have to only serve the same amount of time in the box before re-entering, but we will confirm that when we return in 15 minutes. Holy right, 90 seconds before we get started again, the second half of our first game today at Malice in the Mountains. And with this Malice in the Mountains tournament 2025, we have stickers available for purchase at the concession stand, as well as other merchandise available. And we also have a QR code up at the concession stand that you can scan and purchase a holographic tournament patch that will be mailed to you this week. To scan the QR code and fill out the order form. We'll send you a request via Venmo or Square for debit credit cards for the $8 with free shipping. So if you liked a holographic tournament patch for Malice in the Mountains 2025, just visit the concession stand and scan that QR code. $30 seconds left in our intermission. Glad I turned off the mic right before that. All right, it appears right now both jammers will be starting in the penalty box. However, one of them will be released as soon as the game gets underway. There's the whistle. She'll be sassy. Comes out of the box. Vivian Slayer now. Still waiting for her chance to get released as She'll Be Sassy gets lead. Slayer now out of the penalty box. Looking to get through a very tough pack. She'll Be Sassy on the scoring run. Sassy to the outside. Taken down by Ham Wheezy. Now out of the pack is Slaya. That forces the call off. So we go into the game now. 1 point was scored on that by She'll Be Sassy. So our score right now is 98-77. But the Outlaw is very capable of taking that lead away. Mitochondria shoots from the inside and then goes up the middle. Holly Ween trying to do some lateral moves to split up that tripod of the River Rollers. A lot of bodies down on the ground up at the pivot line. Holly Ween still two defenders to beat. Lead still open. Mitochondria's got a very difficult tripod to deal with. But it is Holly Ween that gets through for lead position, just as Mitochondria gets out of the pack herself. Holly Ween scoring run, slams into the tripod, calls it off, gains 2 points. Solar Roller 07 going up against Glitter Bomb number 7. Glitter Bomb right up the middle, taken down with a hard hit, but back on their feet. Solar Roller shoving their way. Very strong jammer, very pushy. A lot of strength to try to get through. Glitter Bomb being held back, but a lot of nice lateral movement. Splits up that tripod. And we have a forearm call that will send Pterodactyl of the River Rollers to the bench. Have another forearm call. I believe that sends Ham Weasley of the Outlaws to the bench. And after all that, Glitter Bomb does have lead, but very quickly Solar Roller out of the pack, and that'll force a 0-0 jam. Little Kitty split against Whiskey Smasher. Smasher goes down, or Smash goes down. Little Kitty split up ahead. Trying to push through, but nice moves. Good toe stop work right on that inside line by Whiskey Smash to get lead. It looks like we have a star pass. It is Hugs and Stitches with the jam star now for the Outlaws. Good moves by Whiskey Smash, 4 points, calls it off. Night Fury out there for the River Rollers. Once again, Halloween for the jam star for the Outlaws. Halloween backs up for get a bit of a running start as it plows into the jam run. We have a direction call on one of the outlaw blockers, so they'll go to the box with Halloween out for lead. Night Fury stuck behind a difficult tripod. Scoring run for Halloween. Night Fury out of the pack. Holly up against Active, looking to get by. Does a direction call on, looks like another outlaw blocker. Looks like their pivot being sent to the penalty box at the start of this next jam. Teams getting their lines set together. Big hard hits right at the beginning here, some of them illegal hits. That is Phytochondria out with lead. So a lot of penalty issues going on. Good hit by Spitfire, but not enough to bring out Phytochondria. But no, it is enough to bring up Phytochondria with the track cut call. They were knocked out by Spitfire and entered the track illegally. Now we have a power jam advantage for Glitter Bomb. And this will go the full 2 minutes. Both teams putting out everything they got into this last game, this last half. Glitter Bomb trying to find a way through, looking for some offensive help. Putting their shoulder down to try to bust up that River Roller defense. Active with some good solo blocking. Jawbreaker tries to slow him down, but Glitter Bomb is through for 4. Phytochondria right back out on the track, gets through the pack, gets 4 points of their own. Now Glitter Bomb. Caught in the seam. Big open on the inside that Phytochondria sees and gets 4 points. Forearm call sends a outlaw blocker to the box. Mitochondria knocked out to the outside by Spitfire. Glitter Bomb and Active having a bit of a showdown. Good one-on-one blocking that leads them into a very difficult river roller tripod as that gets called off. At Mitochondria putting up 12 points, however 8 points put up by Glitter Bomb. Right now we have a 114-91 game. The River Rollers up ahead. Plenty of time left in this game for that to change. And we have an official timeout. Looks like we're making sure all the penalties are assessed correctly. Quite a few penalties being called in this game. This being an official sanctioned game, we want to make sure all that paperwork being sent in is accurate. Whistle brings us back into it. Little Kitty Spit in blue up against Solar Roller in white. Both teams right up at that jam line. Solar Roller and Little Kitty Split, both strong jammers, kind of putting their shoulders into the blockers to try to get through, but it is Solar Roller out first. Solar Roller to the outside. Looking to swing around the track at turn number 2. One more to be, just Tinker held. And now Little Kitty Split tries to take it down, but no. It is Solar Roller for 4. We do have our Star Pass as Hugs and Stitches is our jammer, but they are set to the box. So this will now be a power jam advantage for the River Rollers. We have an illegal contact against Tinker Hell. Solar Roller now getting some offensive help. Now a bit of passive offense being played by the River Rollers as Solar Roller gets through for 8 points. Both teams getting set up. Solar Roller dig hit by Ham Wheezy. Slow down their momentum. Hits and Stitches getting slammed in. It is called out. 2 points, 2 more points gained by Solar Roller for a total of 10 on that jam. Boosting up that lead of the River Rollers by 124-91. She'll be sassy out against Halloween. Both jammers caught up by the tripods. Halloween sees the outside, grabs it, stakes it in after a hit by Pterodactyl. Not enough. Good footwork. Keeps them in and gets them the lead. Hard hit by the jammers. She'll be sassy, opting to pay a little defense there before attacking the line once again. On their scoring run is Halloween, though. She'll be sassy yet to break free of the pack. Halloween for 4. She'll be sassy, though, is out now. Sassy right on the heels of Halloween, calls it off. Oh, hard back block. There may be a penalty assessed here. We'll see. have an official timeout as we discuss what that last jam. Wait for the word on that for the officials, see what their decisions are made, and see what changes. Whoop. All right, we are back into this game. Little Kitty Split up against Whiskey Smash. Both jammers, very strong, pushy jammers that we have going on here, trying to get their shoulder in and really work on trying to get past these very difficult tripods. But it is Little Kitty Split that gets out first. However, it is Whiskey Smash not far behind. Split, hard hit. That was Sir Vixen with a hard hit to take out Little Kitty Split as Smash gets through for 4, threatening another scoring run. Night Fury facing off against Halloween. River Rollers start right up at the jam line, try to stop that momentum early. Night Fury pushing their way through for a lead. Night Fury now going to the inside. No, is knocked out. Nice hit by Joya Destroyer. But 2 points gained by Night Fury on that one to boost up that River Roller lead. And we are going to have an official review. Outlaws calling an official review, see if they retain or lose. We'll give those results to you here. Again, another make sure you get your tournament patches. They will be available for purchase, so you scan a QR code that is up by our concession stand. We also have Malice in the Mountains 2025 stickers available there, as well as other merchandise. And so yes, scan that QR code, fill out the order form, and you will be sent a request via Venmo or Square for debit or credit cards. The patches are $8. They are holographic patches with the Malice in the Mountains 2025 logo, and there is free shipping. And those will be mailed out within the week. All right, the Outlaws were looking for a forearm call, which they got, so that penalty will be assessed. They will retain their official review. That'll still be available for them. There's 17 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game, so we'll have a power start advantage for the Outlaws with Glitterbomb with the star. We are off for some offensive help to clear it inside line. And Glitterbomb taken down. We are going to have a directional call, though, on Sharkbait of the River Rollers. Glitterbomb back up on their feet and getting lead. Another penalty being called on the River Roller blockers. They only have 2 out there to try to stop Glitterbomb. Glitterbomb on their scoring run. They are through for 4. Now off the track, onto the track is Phytochondria. Very quickly moving, get through. Oh, no, that is not Phytochondria, rather that is Night Fury. Glitterbomb getting past Pterodactyl for 4 more. Night Fury with the star pass to Sharkbait. Glitterbomb on a good run here, already putting up 8 points. Calls it off. See what they ended up with. They ended up with 12 points, getting the last 4 on that one. Closing up that lead that the River Rollers have. So great job by Glitterbomb, taking big advantage of that power start. Yeah, really good offensive help there as well from her line. Now Phytochondria is out there up against Hollywing. Contact right at the start of the jam off the line. Phytochondria, though, 2-on-1 blockers. 1 more to beat, does it, and they are through for lead. We do it. Nice, the knockout to take out Phytochondria, recycling back. So the knockout versus Phytochondria, good battle going on between those two. We do have a star pass. It is Spitfire with a lot of speed. Getting that jam star on the helmet. Phytochondria now charging into the wall. Gets knocked out by Tinkerhell and calls that one off. Let's see, Spitfire able to pull off 2 points, though. Racing around the track for 2 more points. However, 6 points put up by Phytochondria in that last run. Whiskey Smash back out against Vivian Slaya. Looking for room amongst a whole lot of blockers out on the track. Penalty box is clear. Smash up front trying to get through. Slaya knocked out by Active. Smash is through for the lead, though. As looks like Tugs and Stitches the pivot for the Outlaws sent to the box. Slamming into a tripod is Whiskey Smash, but good work by the Outlaw defense to stop their dead in the track. Did get all 3 points, though. Managed to get the hips around all 3 players, even as they were right in her way. There with Derby, the points are scored when the hips of the jammer go by the opposing player's hips. So it's not the head or the arm or the leg, it's if the hips pass the other player. We may have an official timeout here, perhaps. Yes, we do.
I accidentally started a timeout. I can't remove it.
into it. And once again, we see Glitter Bomb going up against Solar Roller. These two have been dueling a lot this game. Solar Roller is out for lead. Now on the scoring run. Crashes hard into Tinkerhell. Get on their feet and through for 4. Calls it off. Quick jam, but enough to extend that lead that the River Rollers have. So we go into the last 12 and a half minutes of this game. Little Evil, 76 in blue against She'll Be Sassy. Hard shoving. We have a multiplayer call on Joya Destroya of the Outlaws, so that frees up She'll Be Sassy to take lead. Little Evil putting the shoulder into the River Runner tripod, a River Roller tripod. But quick and out of that pack for 4 points is She'll Be Sassy. We have a Star Pass Spitfire now with a star. A lot of speed Spitfire has. Knocked out by Active, going to be recycled back as they put on the star. Sassy coming around for another run. Be their 3rd scoring pass in this jam. But no, there's going to be a penalty, so now this will go the full 2 minutes. Have 1 minute left in this jam, as this is a power jam advantage now for the Outlaws. She'll Be Sassy to the bench. Spitfire, your jammer for the Outlaws. Looking for some offensive help, goes to the outside, but the tripod of the River Rollers is right there and being recycled back. So great penalty kill by the River Rollers. Back on the track is She'll Be Sassy. Getting some offensive help by Sharkbait and is through for 4. Nice work by the defenders of the River Rollers, providing a really good defense during that power jam and good offense to get Sassy through the wall. Sassy with another run, that is 16 points. However, is Don't Care Bear with the multiplayer call. That is now being sent to the box. right, now I have an official review being called. This looks like the Outlaws will be using their official review. I discussed that last jam. So a reminder, our next, we do have one more game today that will be starting late, as this game's running a little late here. It was slotted for 11 a.m. We'll likely start a half hour, at least a half hour after this game is finished. We still have 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. All right, now the River Rollers will be doing an official review, so we'll get the results of these two reviews as soon as the officials confer with the coaches and the captains, and we'll get that information out to you. All right, neither team wins their official review. Both challenges overturned by the officials, so both teams will lose their official review and still have 2 team timeouts available to each team. Right now we have Solar Roller going up against Halloween. Nice hit out by Sharkbait to bring back Halloween. But quick move to the outside, gets some lead. However, Solar Roller, not long contained, is also out of the pack. Now we have a sprint between these 2 jammers. Smashing into the pack, or both of them go, and Solar Roller out for 4, and Halloween out for 4. So we go around again, neck and neck. And we are going to have a track cut call on Halloween. Solar Roller knocked them out. They did not re-enter behind Solar Roller. So power jam advantage to the River Rollers. Bodies are on the ground and Roller gets around them. Calls it off. There is no lead though. Holly was lead, but is sent to the box, so this is going to go the full 2 minutes, so there will be no power start advantage. I believe that's what the River Rollers were trying to hope for there. But another 4 points. So right now we have 12 points put up by Solar Roller. Halloween has had 4 before sent to the box. They are now back out on the track. Both tripods ready and waiting to receive these jammers. We got a forearm called on Pterodactyl. We'll send them out. And now it's a fighting for points. Halloween through for 4. Solar Roller still fighting to get out of the pack. May have gotten all 4 points, but has yet to be free of the pack. Tries to call off, but they cannot call it off. Halloween, nice moves on the inside. Get through, skip for 4 points, and looks like 12 points put up by Halloween. 4 before going into the box and comes roaring back out to gain 8 more. 16 points total though, put up by the River Rollers. Great job by Solar Roller. Come out ahead by 4 points in that jam. Night Fury up against Glitter Bomb. Jammers trying to angle to the middle and also to the inside. Glitter Bomb switches to the outside but is met by the River Rollers. Yeah, it squeezes by. Don't care bear it is. Does Glitter Bomb, and they are through for lead. Night Bomb, or Night Fury being recycled. Glitter Bomb on the scoring run. Up through the middle. Now both jammers being caught up by these defenses, but finding a hole on the outside is Glitter Bomb for 4 points. And we have a successful star pass that gives Sharkbait the star. Glitter Bomb calls that one off. Gathers 4 more points for 8 points total. And we are going to have a team timeout called by the River Rollers. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left. Give 1 minute to regroup. Very active jam these last few ones. A lot of energy being spent in these final minutes. This is the final game for both of these teams here at this tournament. Every team played 2 games yesterday. One will play 1 game today. right, and we are about to be right back into the action. Whiskey Smash up against Little Kitty Split. Both of these jammers, definitely very strong jammers. Have a lot of speed, but also to develop a lot of power to punch through these tripods and these walls. Little Kitty Split up on top, has three blockers now. Good regrouping by the River Rollers. Whiskey Smash tries to go for the outside, but Tinker Hell is right in their way. Now moving to the outside is Whiskey Smash. Meanwhile, Split still trying to fight up the middle to get through, and does for lead. Smash punched out by Vivian Slaya, who's now acting as pivot for the Outlaws. Little Kitty Split scoring some points right now. Pushing up the middle is Split, but the River Rollers have got their tripod set and now are not making it easy. Whiskey Smash still trying to get punched through there for their initial pass. Little Kitty Split getting held up by Active. But we do have a successful star pass. It's now Shark Pass. Shark Bait does get the star pass, and that's going to call that off. But not before some more points are put up by Little Kitty Split. They'll closing up that lead a little bit as we go into 5 minutes left in the game. And we do have a power start. There was a penalty called on Whiskey Smash before they delivered that star pass, so they will be sent to the box as the jammer. Holly Ween getting a penalty, being sent to the box. That's going to free up Whiskey Smash. And so now there will be a power jam advantage to the River Rollers. Pushing on to the outside is Whiskey Smash and on through. Lead had not been assessed before, so now lead goes to Whiskey Smash. Whiskey Smash crashing hard into the line, but is right back up. Sacrificing their body for 4 points there. Very tough jammer is Whiskey Smash. Been tough all weekend. Now we'll have a official timeout again. So we're just going to make sure these. No. Back into it, and we're going to have a power start opportunity now for the River Rollers. Phytochondria, who's very good even without a lot of offensive help, now getting all 4 blockers on her team, perhaps to free her and get that lead jammer advantage. See what the Outlaws can do here against that. But no, nice footwork gets her by the last 2 blockers, and it is lead. No, track cut. Does not get the lead. So lead may still be open, or lead was lost. I don't know if lead was assessed before the penalty. Anyway, now it is Holly Ween on the track with a power jam advantage. See what the Outlaws can definitely use this to close up that gap. Holly Ween pushing by, has Don't Care Bear to beat, and does. Speeding on through, now on a scoring run. Phytochondria right off the bench and on right behind. Back block on Halloween sends them to the bench, so now this is going to be a power jam advantage back to the River Rollers. Couple of hard hits, but Phytochondria stays on their feet and pushing through. Tinker Hell holding her up momentarily, but is through is Phytochondria. And we have a misconduct call. Let's see who's going to the bench for that. I don't see anyone moving yet. Hard hit by Hits and Stitches to knock out Phytochondria. Phytochondria putting up some points already. Halloween back out on the track though. And that is the jam as we run out of time. See what our final point total tally is. points are all settled. Looks like it had a 7-7 jam on that one. That was real intense between those two jammers on these teams here, fighting for all these points. Right now we are at 187 to 140 as we are in a minute and 23 seconds left. Time for perhaps 2 more jams, although this could be the last jam that we see right here. Right now on the track we have another familiar duel. We have Glitter Bomb in blue up against Solar Roller in white. These two have been jammer contenders against each other quite a few times during this game. And we are going Glitter Bomb to the outside, but Sharkbait is there to stop. Solar Roller now shoving, putting his shoulder down to try to get through tripod. Glitter Bomb, good footwork, lateral footwork, but no, first through is Solar Roller, but Glitter Bomb right behind. So now Solar Roller racing for points, trying to get through, calls it off, and there will be time for one more jam. 3 points given to Solar Roller, extending that lead up to 50 as we go into perhaps what could be the last jam. But no, timeout given by the Outlaws, which will stop that clock at 40 seconds. Or 43 seconds. So we adjust that time clock. So get 1 minute to regroup as we go into our last jam, potentially last jam of our game here. Keep in mind we do have one more game, and that is going to be the Wasatch Midnight Terror going up against the FOCO Microbruisers. That will take place roughly a half hour after this game ends. She'll be Sassy going up against Little Evil. Each team has a blocker in the penalty box. And we are off. Little Evil pushing up front against that tripod. She'll be Sassy also having a tough tripod. It's not giving an inch. And it is Glitter Bomb or Little Evil that is free. Lead advantage to the Outlaws as they look to score some points before that jam clock expires. And we have a star pass to Sharkbait. So now on the scoring run is Sharkbait, opting to call that one off. This is Little Evil to stop that game. We'll get our last points totaled here. Right now it stands at 190 to 144 with the River Rollers out on top. And that'll seem to be what our final score is. So be sure to, as soon as we hear this rolling whistle, be sure to come out and congratulate these teams. And there it is. That is the game. 190 to 144. River Rollers up on top against the Wild West Outlaws. Run down the rosters of these teams very quickly. We have for the Wild West Outlaws number 0, the Knockout, 008 Ham Wheezy, 1031 Holly Ween, number 13 Hugs and Stitches, 24 Spitfire, 321 Vivian Slaya, number 5 Little Kitty Split, number 54 Mecha Frankenstein, 562 Tanker Hell, number 7 Glitter Bomb, 76 Little Evil, 802 Mow You Down, number 88 Joya Destroya. Their coaches were Dysentery, Henanigans, Apocalypsa, Shenanigans, and Brooke. And for the Palouse River Rollers, 0210 Sir Vixen 07 Solar Roller, number 22 Sharkbait 247 Luxually Active, number 27 Don't Care Bear, number 29 Pterodactyl, number 33 Jawbreaker, 333 Phytochondria, 626 Night Fury, 757 She'll Be Sassy, number 90 Whiskey Smash, and 99 Betty Rumble. And we will be back here in roughly 1/2 hour for the Midnight Terror going up against the FOCO Micro Bruisers.